Hey, welcome back, parents. Do you ever feel like maybe there's some magic fairy dust for being a great mom or dad, and you've just like not stumbled across this? Like somebody's keeping it a secret from you. They're hiding it in a little bag somewhere, and they're just running around their home, sprinkling it everywhere. Well, guess what? That magic fairy dust is you. There is no magic of fairy dust. No one's got it all figured out. And the truth is, you've got what it takes already. You've got what it takes to be mom or dad to your children. And you've also got what it takes to be a rock star spouse. So don't look any further. We can burden ourselves by looking around on social media for the next best parenting hack. Or we can judge ourselves compared to the lives that are shown on social media or through photos of other families and think we don't have what it takes. There's just something about us that will never quite be that good or have that type of a family. And I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. That is one of the greatest lies that you could believe. You absolutely 100% were designed for this life. So we're going to talk about that today on this episode. I struggle with this too. I struggle with feelings of anxiety and these racing thoughts where I'm going, am I doing enough? Do I have the right morning routine down? Am I saying the right things on the mic for parents? And do I have enough funds to keep this organization running? Like I struggle with these things too. But I've been inspired. You know what I've been inspired by? Myself. You know how? Because the former me, the one that's made all kinds of mistakes and had abandonment issues in college when my spouse left me after 3 months of marriage, like that old me made me who I am today to be able to help people who I've been, right? The person that I have been in the past is the person that I am here to help today. And you are no different. The things that you have brought into your marriage, the experiences you've had, and the struggles that you have overcome as a parent, those are the very things that make you uniquely qualified to overcome the things that are bothering you right now. So don't look any further. Shut down social media for a little while. Take a little digital fast from your phone. And let's talk about focusing in on the critical few that truly matter. We talk about here at Families of Character the 3 C's, and that is connecting consistently with your spouse and with your kids. And it's calming the calendar chaos, right? As parents and as husband and wife and like this whole family life, our calendars can drive us nuts. They can make us feel like things are out of control, like we really don't have a grip on things. And so it's important for us to just go, you know what are the critical few that actually move the needle, that make us more fulfilled in our marriage and family life. And that's one, connecting consistently with your spouse and your kids in meaningful ways. It's getting a little bit of calm around the calendar by doing weekly reviews as an entire family, where you sit down and you review the entire calendar together and prepare on a Sunday for what's to come. And then the third thing, the 3 C, is really coming together in a common goal. Guys, with everything we have going on this week, what is one thing that we're going to hone in on? What is one thing that we're all going to work together towards to just crush this week? To remain positive, to remain focused, to remain hope-filled, and to build each other up. Man, I tell you, when I'm recording this right now, there is so much going on in the media. I live in Aurora, Colorado, and I'm sure you've seen all the coverage of the Venezuelan gangs and all the media coverage about the police. And, we're talking about the election, the upcoming election, and the polarization of politics. And we have all these different beliefs and ideas about what's going on in our culture. And the world wants us to just be reminded every day of the division that is happening out there in the world and in our homes as well. And I'm just here to tell you, you are responsible for your spouse and your kids in your home. Number one, first and foremost. Okay, so the idea of sprinkling magic fairy dust to become the best parent or the ideal spouse, or the fact that you don't have what it takes, and that you're distracted by all the noise of the culture. I want you to get rid of that. I want you to flush those negative beliefs and instead remind yourself that, you know what? Among all this division, the truth is we are brothers and sisters, right? We are here to support each other, to build each other up, and to do the most important work that we'll ever do, which is within the walls of our own homes. Mother Teresa has said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Parents, that's the critical few activities. That's the critical one thing that we're called to do, is to love each other as husband and wife and to love our children. So I want you to just be inspired by the idea that, you were meant to be the parent that your kids need, with their special needs, with their unique abilities and talents. You were chosen. God chose you for them and them for you. God made you in his image and likeness. You truly have been made for greatness. So if you have been stuck in this rut of not good enough, don't have a big enough house, don't have the car that would be just right for all of us to feel comfortable in, I want you to just set that aside and go, you know what matters? Connection with my spouse and my kids. I did an episode recently about going back to school and kind of smooth transitions. And that episode is all about these critical 9 minutes of your child's day, where you get up in the morning and the first 3 minutes of their day, you build them up, you greet them with kindness and compassion. When you pick them up from school, you put your phone down, you set work aside. You don't set meetings that you're on your phone during car line, because you know every day what time you're going to pick your kids up. So you can actually schedule around that, and you connect with them when they get in your car. And then at the end of the day, when they're going to bed, you give them those sweet little affirmations. You are loved. You did a great job today. You worked really hard today at school. You know what? I love being your mom. I love being your dad. When the world is telling you you've got to do Singapore math instead of Saxon math, or you have to, your child has to be performing at this level, or they have to sit down in their seat in school, or I'm going to call you and tell you to come get them. Forget the noise. Forget all that. I know it weighs on you on a daily basis, but what we have to remember, what matters at the end of the day, is that we are being a loving example to our children and to our spouses. And we can't forget about our spouse. We talk all about in our Thriving Family Accelerator and our couples coaching about how we, husband and wife, started this whole crew, right? We're the ones that created this family that we have. It is so important for us to prioritize the connection with our spouse. We have meetings we have to go to. We got to get up early for a networking event. We got to get out of the house for this or that thing. You know what you have to do? You have to connect with your spouse. There's a study that shows that we Americans touch our phones more in one day than we touch our spouse in an entire week. Parents, put the phone down and connect with each other. Whatever you're looking at on the phone isn't as important as the deposits that you make in the love bank of your relationship and your marriage. Whatever you're scrolling, whatever you're looking up, whatever Amazon thing that you're looking at right in this moment, it can wait. What can't wait is your relationship. What can't wait is the fact that you don't know when this is going to be over. In our community, we have had tragic losses recently where, a gentleman is out for a swim. He's married and has 5 children and dies of a heart attack, swimming, doing something good for his body. We can't wait until our kids are grown and out of the home. We don't have time for that. The time is now. You were put here on purpose. You were put here because you are the perfect parent for your child. No magic fairy dust. It's you. You've got what it takes. In my private practice, I have to tell you, parents would always say, well, can't you just work with my child? Can you work with my child to get him to, pay attention better or to stop throwing these tantrums? I'll just bring my child in for therapy and I'll take a break from counseling. No, I said, you've got what it takes. You are their primary caregiver. You are the person that they are attached to the most. I can train you to do this for your child, but you have what it takes. You might just need a couple small suggestions and an accountability partner. I can be that for you, but you have what it takes. You have what it takes to repair your marriage. I have heard the craziest things in couples counseling. Well, I can't fulfill my spouse's needs. So I've given them permission to go outside of the marriage and get their needs met in another way. And I'm totally fine with that because I've got this baggage from my past. I've got things that I've been through. I know that the things that I've struggled with are affecting my marriage. And I just don't know that I'll ever be able to get over them. So I've given my spouse permission to just go ahead and whatever they need to do, just, keep it away from the house. But it's okay to just go outside of our marriage and get those needs met. No, you are the perfect person to meet your spouse's needs. You are the perfect parent to handle the struggle that's happening with your kid at school. You're the perfect parent to reach out for some support, to know how to connect with your teenager when you're in the car. And you're the perfect person to grow and change and get better at things like interrupting or criticizing. We are not, people are not inspired by us because of our perfection. They aren't. They aren't inspired by us because we do things all right. They're inspired by us because of our missteps, because of our mistakes, because of our baggage. People are most helped by us because of our past, because of our willingness to share the obstacles that we have encountered in married life, the obstacles we have encountered as parents. They're most inspired because we have looked back at our lives and said, yes, that was an obstacle. And you know what? I overcame it. I want you to think about this for a minute. You have overcome every single thing that you have been through. That's right. Today, when you're listening to this podcast, you can say, I have overcome everything I've been through, because that's the truth. Has it been easy? No. Do you feel like it's wrapped up with a pretty little bow on it? No. But you've gotten through it. The things that you have been through with your professional life, losing jobs, getting jobs, laying people off, getting hired, getting pregnant, having a miscarriage, losing a child, maybe even losing your spouse. You are on the other side. You've been through that and you have overcome those things. Your past is constantly preparing you for the future. That's the God that we love and know, is the God that has prepared us for the very next thing. So you don't need to be fearful. You don't need to be running to Instagram or Facebook or Googling the next best technique. What you need to do is look back on your life, remind yourself of the struggles that you have gone through. Remind yourselves of the obstacles that you've experienced and the fact that you have overcome them, that your life continues on in a forward motion and you are okay. You're okay. You are qualified right now, right today, to contribute to your marriage. You are qualified in the here and now for the one issue that you're struggling with the most, no matter what it is. And if you doubt that, it's okay, because you know what? You've got someone who believes in you, and that's me. I believe in a God that is bigger than any obstacle that we face in our lives. And if you don't feel like you have that faith right now, it's okay. I want you to know that I've got that and I've got your back, and I am going to continue to support and encourage you in this space. You are meant for greatness. Family life is meant to be exceptional, and that includes you. This great life, this joy-filled life of parenting and marriage after 20 years. My husband and I have been married 20 years. There's so much beauty and joy waiting around the corner if you will accept it. If you will remind yourself that there's no magic fairy dust. You are it. You've got it. I want you to think about this. I want you to close your eyes right now. I hope you're not driving or running on the treadmill, but I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think, what would my marriage look like if I focused on having fun? I focused on having fun and letting loose in my marriage. What would that look like? Imagine that in your mind's eye. What would it look like as a mother or a father for you to let go of the pressure of having the exact right bedtime routine or the exact right discipline technique, and instead said, what would it look like if I just allowed myself to have fun as a mother? What if I allowed myself to just have fun as a dad and know that I'm enough for these kids, that they don't have other parents that they're comparing me to? I'm doing this all in my own mind. I am enough for them. I want you to embrace that. Life gets difficult. We can get ourselves trapped in this web of lies and untruths that we don't have what it takes, and that it's just too hard on any given day. And that this is just the cards we were dealt, and it's just going to stink for a while. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. That's not true. You can have a wonderful marriage right now, right here, with what you've got. Your kids can feel like a unified team on your family and feel like you are their biggest supporters right here, right now, with the resources you've got. But I want to make it even easier for you. I want to challenge you to discern the critical few things and get rid of all the other trivial activities and tasks and to-do lists, and to really and truly allow yourself to focus in on 3 things that matter most, that are going to move the needle for you to realize the greatness of your marriage and the greatness of family life in parenting. Consistent connection. How often are you and your spouse connecting with a conversation, with physical touch, and on the business of your family? How often are you doing this? If you're not doing it, don't beat yourself up. Just ask yourself, where's one place in our calendar once a week where we're both home that we can commit to connecting as a couple? Josh and I have a couples connection meeting every Wednesday morning. Every Wednesday morning, we get up earlier than our kids. We pour a cup of coffee and we sit down and we connect. We connect on the business of our family. How are things going in our spiritual life? How are things going in our relationship? How are things going with our kids? Right? What is the next thing we have going on at our home that is the most highest priority? We sit down with a pen and paper and just write these things down. And then we check in with each other the next Wednesday morning when we connect again. Now, is that all the connecting we're doing? No. Why? Because if we just connect on the business of our family, that's a real drag. You know it. You're listening to this going, oh yeah, every time we sit down or we try to go out to dinner, we talk about, it's another rant about the kids, or it's another, distressing situation that we're talking about related to our finances, or the fact that, we still have this car to pay off, or the groceries have gone up. We can't just simply talk about the business of our families. We also have to talk about our future together. What is it that we want? What experiences do we want to have as a couple while raising kids? Dream together, okay? Dream together. Have those connections where you're looking outside of this week, where you're saying, what are some things that we want to do next year? What about in the next 3 years? You don't have to have the resources for them right now, but you have to allow yourself the opportunity to dream. And I know this is hard in the day-to-day grind. Will you connect with your spouse on just the business of today and the here and now of this week? And you're going to feel the burden and the mental load of the chaos of family life. You're going to get burned out. So not only talk about and connect on the business of family life, but allow yourself to dream. Touch each other's bodies. What about that? Connecting as a couple. You going to wait until your kids have left the house to be intimate on a regular basis? To hold each other's hands, to kiss each other, to put your arm around each other at the dinner table, to go on a walk and hold hands. If it's been 15 years, it's been 20 years, it's been 7 years. Physical touch is an expression of love. We were not meant to, commune with each other with barriers in between us. Skin to skin contact is a real thing. Do you think about when you had a baby? What did the nurse recommend? That you take your shirt off and you lay that baby, that naked baby in their little diaper on your chest. You get their skin bonded with your skin. Heartbeats next to one another. Why are we leaving our spouse out of this? Right? Do you lay in bed with your spouse, take your shirts off, and lay on each other, put your head on each other's chest, or, put your arm around each other, or spoon each other in bed? Do you do that? I'm serious. Because if you don't, you need to start doing that right now. You need to connect physically with each other. Touching each other's skin, even in a sexual way, that is connection. Your body needs that. Your mind needs that. Your heart needs that. Your spouse is a person you chose to be with for the rest of your life until death do us part. So connecting as a couple is one of those critical few things that you've got to prioritize. You've already got it within you. Did you notice as I was talking about connecting with your spouse, I wasn't talking about anything new. I wasn't talking about something that you have to go out and buy or learn about. You know this already. The way you used to connect with your spouse before you started having kids is what I'm talking about getting back to. It's about setting healthy boundaries with your kids around your bedroom, making that a sacred space. Take the TV out. Dock your phones in a different room and make your bedroom about connecting with each other. Conversations, laying in bed with your eyes wide open, talking about the thing that's on your heart in the dark. That's connection. Connecting physically with your spouse. That is connection. The two become one. Didn't we say this on our wedding day? Connecting with your spouse. You know what? You're probably saying, Jordan, but what if I'm mad at my spouse? Or what if there's all kinds of resentments that I have towards them? How do I get over that? I don't even feel like looking at them, let alone holding their hand or giving them a hug. It's okay to start with physical touch. I know you think that you need an apology, you need to write down this list of resentments that you have and that you're not going to be okay. You're not going to be able to give yourself fully to your spouse in a way of connection unless you have these certain things met by them. But that's the enemy. That's the enemy lying to you. We can connect with each other. In therapy, we used to call it taking opposite action. You feel, lack of energy. You feel down in the dumps. You feel like there's just not one thing that you can do. Guess what? You take opposite action. You get up and you move your body. You get up and you do one thing that you know that you can accomplish so that you feel that sense of accomplishment and you have the energy and the motivation to do the next thing. Okay. So we're not waiting for our spouse to apologize for that one thing 13 years ago. We're not waiting for our spouse to, sit down and listen to us so that we feel respected in order to, give some physical affection to them. We're not withholding something from our spouse because we're waiting for them to take the first move. No, you have what it takes right now. So make the next step towards connection, not division. Make the next step towards connecting with your spouse, not withholding. You've got what it takes. You have to understand this, believe it, and say it to yourselves. I know this because I struggle with this myself. And this is a practice that I have to do with myself all the time. I want you to consider this connection. Connection is the answer to the nagging, to the yelling, to the division, and the arguments with your spouse and children. Above all other things, people will settle for attention if they don't get connection. They will settle for attention if they don't get connection. So when you're looking at your calendar and your week and what makes sense and what things you're going to prioritize over something else, prioritize connection. If you do meaningful things with your spouse and your kids without distraction, the fighting, the arguing, the nagging will subside. You have needs. Your kids have needs. When you meet their emotional needs by connecting with them in meaningful ways, the rest of it dissipates. Trust me on this. Don't wait for the magic fairy dust. Don't buy the next chore chart. Stop looking for answers outside of your own four walls and prioritize the connection in your household. Second C, calm the calendar chaos. When life gets crazy and you start feeling like you need answers for stuff, I want you to look at your calendar on a weekly basis. We talk about this all the time, the weekly family huddle. Your family is the most important team you will ever be part of in your entire life. So why aren't you huddling up on a Sunday with your spouse and your kids and looking at the weekly family calendar? Why? Because it's just other things come up. No, put it on your calendar. Prioritize this huddle time. Say, guys, we're going to check out and see and look and be prepared. We have what it takes. We have the calendar right here. We know you have soccer and you have flag football and you have piano and I have a meeting this night. If we know that stuff, we should be looking at it together and preparing for how we're going to pitch in and help out to make our family move through this week with joy and harmony. We don't have to be victim to our calendar. We don't have to just be, bobbing and weaving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon going, what's next? Where are we going? Do you have everything you need to get to gymnastics or, to get to baseball? No, we can plan ahead. So not only connect with your family in loving ways and physical, emotional ways, but look at the calendar with them. Afford them the opportunity to pitch in and help out with ideas for how to manage the activities on the family calendar. If you get in the habit of doing this every Sunday, your whole family dynamic will change. You will find more peace and joy within the walls of your home. Trust me, my family has done over 250 family huddles. We've been at this since 2019. This is why I come on the mic every week, because my family has been transformed because of these 3 C's, because we have prioritized connection with each other. We have come together around our family calendar and got some organization going on in our home with a weekly family huddle. And then the third C is that common goal. We can all be wearing the same color jersey and have the same last name on our jersey and live under the same roof in our own home. But if we're all, doing our own thing and there's not one common goal that we're focused on together as an entire family that we want to grow in and improve in, then there's division in our team. There's division right within our own home. So it can be as easy on a Sunday when you're doing your weekly review or your weekly family huddle, at the end of looking at that calendar and saying, okay, everybody knows what's going on here. We've got everything kind of ironed out of who's going where and what we're having for dinner that night and when we're going to schedule fun time and downtime for the family. Now, what is one thing you guys think that we could work on over the next week? When you choose something as a family, you come together in solidarity. You come together as a unified team with a growth mindset. You guys, I am not giving you an assignment to go out and buy a certain thing. You don't need to upgrade anything in your family life. You've got what it takes. You've got what it takes. You have a calendar. If you're married and you're listening to this podcast and you have kids, you have a spouse who's on your team. You have children who want to be part of your team and to pitch in and to help out and feel valued, that you want to know what they're thinking about your family life for the upcoming week and beyond. And then this idea that you're going to grow together, that you're going to build a character in your family in an intentional way because you're choosing one goal to work on together. This is what makes all the difference. I wanted to just share with you today a bit of inspiration. I wanted to just share with you today a little bit of inspiration and hope. Actually, you're going to get that from me every time you hear me on the mic. I can't help it because people have inspired me. I have learned from my past mistakes and I continue to learn from today's mistakes. It's what makes me qualified to help the me from my past. It's what makes me qualified to help the me of my future. And the very same things that you've been through are what's going to help you today and what's going to help the you of your future. So understand you've got exactly what is needed for your spouse and for your kids. All I'm asking you to do is take an action step today. I want you to embrace the belief that you are uniquely qualified right now. You've got what it takes. You have got a God that has prepared you for the things that have a grip on you. Surrender. Say to yourself, I believe I'm qualified. I believe my past has prepared me for the here and now, and that the here and now is preparing me for what's next. No magic fairy dust here. You are uniquely qualified. Parents, dial it up just 1% today. I want you to think about those 3 C's: connecting in a meaningful way, connecting on a consistent basis with my spouse. I am responsible for me. I can't change my spouse. I can't change my kids, but I am in control of how I connect with the people in my home. And I choose to connect in a loving, positive, hope-filled way. Connection, consistent connection. Calendar. Get the calendar out. Stop keeping it to yourself and managing everything and carrying the burden of the family and the mental load of everything that's going on. Share that with those in your family. Your spouse and your kids are huge assets on your team. Calm the calendar chaos. And third, identify and rally around one common goal that you can work on, and praise each other for any bit of progress made toward that. Guys, I'm going to continue jumping on this mic. I'm going to have guests. I'm going to do some solo episodes. I want you to keep coming back to the Families of Character show to get fed, because we need support. We can't do this thing alone. You're uniquely qualified, and you know that we need each other. We need a community. So thank you for being part of our Families of Character community. We certainly have more help than just this podcast. We have parent coaching. We have small groups going on. We've got content on our website, little tools that will help you in the here and now. If you felt inspired by this message, if there's someone in your circle that you know needs to hear this bit of hope and this bit of inspiration, please forward this message on to them. When you share our podcast with other people, it helps get our message out. It also helps us go up in the ranks in Apple and Spotify. So when parents are looking for hope, they're looking for a message, they're looking for some support in this season of parenting and family life and marriage, we pop up for them. So please know that you sharing our episodes, liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, the Families of Character Show, all of this helps others. Listen, I am always in your corner, and I'm going to catch you on another episode of our show real soon. Take care.